understanding. My daily bread, that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line, line. Precept on precept, line upon line, line.
Babe, I can't keep explaining, can't study for you. I can't think of nothing.
We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Hey, Israel, shalom. Welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precept. We're your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Yasser.
Officer Thomas.
Officer Zadiah.
So like we do every class, all right, hey, and shout out to Captain Matthew and Officer Micah who are doing the Lord's work abroad. We'll leave it at that. Put up the thumbnail. Put up the thumbnail this evening. And I think there's a, Zadiah, you saw the snippet that kind of helped out.
Yes, sir. It says, Syria'S not enough. Esau covets Yemen. All right. What we see is we see Amalek's pagan star in the middle of the crossbones. We can see the drones in the background. There's been drones attacked lately. You also see the dark clouds, the American flag in the front, representing the death to come and the destruction by Amalek. And if you look closely, you can also see the maps. You can see the maps of the lands of the Iran and different Persian countries over there in the Middle East.
All praise to the Most High. So tonight's show, if y'all, and this is important that we all watch what's going on in the news, and I say it all the time, you cannot just depend on ABC, CNN, ABC, CNBC. You can't do that. You have to look at other sources. You have to search. Like, it'd be nice if we just pull something up and you get what you want to see. No, you have to search. So tonight we're going to begin. First, we're going to look at what's going on in Syria. All right. We know that Syria was a land grab, how Assad's government fell. We went into how it was the Ba'ath Party and how Assad's father was in power since almost the 70s, and they ruled that. And the Ba'ath Party was an Arab brotherhood party that was trying to unite Arabs, because Syria was an Arab country and now it's dissolved and is being fought over by both the Israelis in the south and then more towards the north, it's the Turks. Because remember, the Turks at one point were the Ottoman Empire, okay? So let's first go to tonight's content. Let me look at it. Not number one. Where is it here? Bear with me. Number 4. Because, and I would like you to pull up a map of the Middle East, please. Because when we look at what's going on in, number 4 is going to be, yes, stand by our Syrian brothers. Pull up the map of the Middle East. The Middle East, because that's a great map. So, can we scroll in on Syria, the area west of our, yeah, that's right there, perfect. So remember, when we look at Syria is in yellow. Use your pointer. Now, let's review. When you look at Israel, Israel is the long, slender country. Actually, they got that broken up differently. Okay, Lebanon and Israel look like one. They have the same color, which Lebanon is to the north of Israel. In Syria, when those of you at home, Syria's what's been in the news. Assad was the president. It was infiltrated by rebel forces, and now this land is in pandemonium. All right, it's in destruction. A major force of Turkey to the north wants to claim parts of the land. And the southern border, you can see Jordan. But Israel shares a small border with Syria, and they're trying to get some of that land. And now, if you look below, this country called Jordan. Jordan borders Israel. It borders Syria, Iraq, and it also borders Saudi Arabia. So tonight we're going to look at Syria, and we're also going to look at, now scroll down to Yemen. Scroll down to Yemen. Yemen is a very important part of the Arabian Peninsula. Why is that, you might ask? Well, scroll back up to the top of Egypt. You cannot get to the Suez Canal. Scroll up to that peninsula. Is it Sinai Peninsula? I mean, expand. Get bigger. Scroll in. Let me say that. No, I'm looking at, if you look at the Red Sea, the Sinai Peninsula is a triangle. You right there. Can you blow it up a little bit? That's it. So you cannot get to these two, that's the Sinai Peninsula, right? Then there's the man-made Suez Canal that goes up. It looks, the Khalil, there's a different pronunciation, but that right there goes directly to the Suez Canal, which literally pulls you right into the Mediterranean Sea. Let's scroll back out real quick. Just think about this. It's funny how now all of a sudden that Syria fell, now Israel wants to control Yemen. Now, if you look at the peninsula, look at the strait. The strait between Yemen and Ethiopia, the small strait right above Somalia. What I mean by, yeah, there we go. Can you blow that up? It is extremely, that's the Gulf of Aden. It is a very, very, very tight bottleneck that leads from the Gulf, can you get the name of that? The Gulf of Aden. That opens up to the Indian Ocean. But to get through there, you have to go through that strait right there. And Yemen controls that state. Because Djibouti and what's the other one? I'm looking at the great country above. Yes. And so we got Israelites there. We got people waking up right there in Eritrea, okay? Our people, in Ethiopia as well. So that's the continent of Africa. And this is where Africa and the Arabian Peninsula almost meet up. This is an important area. So keep that in mind when we go into Yemen tonight, because this is part of the show is the Yemenis, the Houthis in Yemen are launching missiles to the land of Israel. All of this is very important. That's a pretty far distance to get from Yemen all the way over Saudi Arabia to get all the way to Tel Aviv, Israel. So just keep that in mind. All right, so a little bit of geography out the way. Pull up number 4.
Stand by, our Syrian brothers, says Jordan FM after meeting al-Shara.
So remember, we showed you Jordan, right? And Jordan is probably going to be the next country that Israel is going to attack. All right? Yes, please.
The Jordanian foreign minister, Ahmed Safadi, says Jordan is ready to help rebuild Syria as he holds talks with Ahmed al-Shara.
Remember, that guy, we read it, we covered it last week. He used to be the head of Al-Qaeda. The guy is known for beheading people. The U.S. had a $10 million bounty on his head. And now they're recognizing him as the head of Syria, showing you that the United States is just one big damn hypocrite. They use who they want to topple. They wanted Assad toppled. So this is who this guy is. and the Jordanian foreign minister is acknowledging him as the head of state.
Jordan's foreign minister has held talks with Syria's de facto ruler Ahmed al-Shara in Damascus as regional leaders move to engage with the new administration following the overthrow of President Bashar al-Assad 2 weeks ago.
So they're acknowledging that he is the new administration. And Esau and Israel set the narrative. Well, Esau is Israel. And Esau, U.S. and Israel, the Israelis are setting the narrative on who these people are going to be. Because even Al Jazeera, even they have to follow the beat of what America wants them to do. All right, and I'm talking about reporting for news. Okay, play on.
We stand by our Syrian brothers as they start to rebuilding process. Ahmed Safadi told Al Jazeera on Monday.
So that was just a couple of days ago.
We want a stable, secure, safe Syria that guarantees the rights of its people through a transitional process consistent with the aspirations of Syrian people, Safadi added. Mohammed al-Khalifi, minister of the state's Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, also arrived in the Syria's capital, days after Doha opens its embassy in Damascus after 13 years.
Read on.
Qatar's foreign minister spokesman, Majid al-Nassi Asari, said al-Khalifi will hold a series of meetings with Syria's officials to embody Qatar's firm position in providing all the support to the Syrian people.
I want you to understand, I want us to pay attention to, if you notice that the Jordanian foreign minister is aligning exactly with what he's supposed to do. Qatar, pull up a map of the Middle East. What you're going to find is that Trump's coming into power and everybody's going to fall in line. And we might think that the dragons of Arabia are not going to wake up. Well, they might be going back to sleep for just a little bit. This should be Qatar. You have to scroll in now. No, scroll in. It should be, if you see the Persian Gulf, blow it up.
Right there, yeah, it's by Kuwait.
Yeah, so that's a separate country. A lot of people. So you've got Saudi Arabia, you've got Yemen, you've got Oman, you've got the UAE stands for United Arab Emirates. That's where Dubai is. That's where it's the richest, one of the richest cities in the world. You watch a lot of guys like Andrew Tate, these famous movie stars and actors. They all want to go to Dubai. So these countries, and now Qatar, they're all showing and pledging their support for Syria. And guess what the narrative is? The narrative is this guy who used to be an al-Qaeda terrorist is now being acknowledged as the de facto administration. You can't make this up. This is how you know that Esau is running this damn earth. All right, so just kind of as we get into the show, know that this is going on. So now go back to Yemen real quick. And brothers, jump in if you got something to say. Please do. Go back to Yemen. Thank you so much, Yemen. Now, that right there, as we go forward in the last 2 days, is in the tip of all the hotspot stories that's going on in the world, going on right here. So when you look at a map, now go back all the way out if you can. So Africa is Egypt, right? Sudan, Yemen, that's the Arabian Peninsula. And then as you come up, you got the Persian Gulf, Iran, Pakistan. That is the hotspot right now. So just showing you geography, that's what's going on. That's where we're at. Brothers, please.
Well, one thing you can look at that map and see that at the top of Saudi Arabia is where Israel is, and you can't even see them. Right. You can only see their name up there. It's so small. And all this focus is that's going on over there is them, because they've been inserted into the to the Arab world to cause this confusion, to give the Western world a foot in that area. And that's what's going on. they're being supplied with all their military backing by the Western world, the United States and Britain and all those countries, France, Germany, have helped them, as well as they're doing the same thing in the Ukraine. And so, but this is all the plan of the Most High, is to bring this thing to its knees right there in that same area.
That's a hell of a point. You're right. Look how small Israel. It's just, that's why Most High calls in Jeremiah the least of the flock. It's a speck of a country, and very few, like 6 to 10 million Jewish. That's a lot of people, but compared to the number of Arabs in Egypt, in Saudi Arabia, and Iraq, and Syria, there are hundreds of millions of Arabs, and it goes back to slavery times. How is it that a few million white people in Israel can control hundreds of millions of people? Why? Because they rule the earth. Judges 9. The earth is given to the hand of the wicked. They, second phone to drop, they run the doggone earth. And just keep that in mind, the magnitude that a small country controlled by Esau has got everybody in that region completely on their toes. Just really think about that. Look at the size of Egypt alone, how huge it is. And Saudi Arabia is even bigger than that. And all of them fear the white man. That's the power of God. God is doing all this.
You know, right now, Cap, America is paying Egypt and Saudi Arabia for the partnership. It's only going to be so long before they're going to take sides with their brothers.
Hey, remember, and if you look up, you have to get it right now, but the petro was a deal that was cut in the early 70s that all oil that was sold in the world had to go through the U.S. dollar through Saudi Arabia. That's why the Saudi princes are not billionaires. They are trillionaires. And they're not giving all that wealth and power up. They sitting pretty. No one touches them militarily. The U.S. leaves them alone. And like you said, Officer Thomas, there's going to come a time when money and bribes stop working and you realize that they're killing your people to the point where they can turn a blind eye on all the 48,000 deaths of the Palestinians. But when they start touching all these Arab countries, they're going to unite. Mm-hmm. They're going to unite, and that's biblical. Is that in number 4?
You got a little bit more on.
And on that map, you can see the Straits of Hormuz. That's that whole area Cap was addressing, where all of the oil ships and tankers and all of the material goods come out of there. And Israel would like to change that from the Red Sea to come up through, what is that? That's the Arabian Sea, is that right? To the right of Saudi Arabia over in there, yeah. What sea is that? So they want to cut a path so that they don't have to worry about the Strait of Hormuz. It's not there. It's on the other side. It's up at the top where they want to come through where Israel is at. But again, the Houthis got them cut off at the bottom. And that's why Yemen is so important. They pounding the hell out of anybody's ship, U.S. ships, whoever go through there, and they lighten them up. But what's kind of curious is for the Yemen to shoot missiles all the way to Israel, they have to cross over Saudi Arabia's airspace.
That's a hell of a point.
They're letting it go. You don't hear Saudi Arabia complaining. And so they coming together slowly but surely. They figuring this thing out. They know what they got to do. It's just how they don't want to engage America full on because they don't have the military might. But war of attrition is one of the best wars it is, and that's what's really happening. It's happening to the U.S. I noticed the other day they said $50 billion was being given to the Ukraine. But out of that $50 billion, the United States was going to be renewing their military, stuff they already sent over there. They sent billions of dollars of stuff. So we've weakened over here, or America has weakened themselves over here. So all this is playing into the Most High plan all the time. They're going to have to make a move. They can't continue to stalemate what's going over there. Somebody going to get poked in the eye.
Pull up the map again. I like that map you just had. Esau is very strategic. Esau, if we wanted to control this whole region, by the way, they want to control this region because of the natural resources. You have oil, You have shipping lanes so that even if things that are shipped from India and other countries, if they're on Caucasian-owned ships, if I could control, go down to Yemen and that strait, I want the name of that strait, and I don't know what it is. Where Yemen, yep. That strait there, and then the strait near Oman and Iran. If I was Esau, right? If I could control the two bottleneck points, do you know how, like, circle the Persian Gulf? That's that big, yeah. There's so many ports from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Iraq, and Iran, and all of them have to go through the Strait of, is it Hormuz? You mark my words, they're going to try to take Yemen, and they want that port right there. The Strait of Hormuz, okay? And you watch, it's gonna show up. And that's why you see Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Those are the cities you hear all about. It is a huge, trillions of dollars flow through that city. Look up Dubai sometime when you get a chance. Now, go back to the other strait. I want the name of that strait. Yes. You have to both. No, it's some. When you tech guys, you look it up. The strait that's between Yemen and, we don't have to. It may not say it. We got to look. So look, and this is the reason why, because like Officer Yasa mentioned, if I control that strait right there militarily, I can control the avenue of the Red Sea, and if I can deviate or not have to go up the Suez Canal, I've almost destroyed all of Gaza, and the exit point into Mediterranean Sea from the other side of it is going through Gaza. That's the lowest part of Israel that borders on Egypt. Gaza borders Egypt. That's the shortest direct route to create a second, quote unquote, Suez Canal going through Israel. These Israelis are, all of it, it's you just pull back the layers like an onion and you see exactly what they're trying to control. The waterways, they're trying to control the natural resources, and they're securing all of that. It's look for it.
And that was a big deal during the time of Saddam Hussein. He wanted to have access to bring his resources out of Iraq. And so he tried to go through Saudi Arabia. That was his thing. He wanted to get to, he took the map down. Okay. What is that on the left-hand side?
You talk about Iraq and Jordan, you talking about?
Between Saudi and Egypt. What river is that? That lake is that? Body of water.
The Red Sea?
Yes, through the Red Sea. So he was trying to fight. Look where Iraq is. He was trying to cut through Saudi Arabia. And the United States and them knew it and shut him down. They got him bottled up. He can't get his resources out, even at the bottom of Iraq into the Persian Gulf. He can't without having to pay a hefty price to get his resources out. So he wanted to make a way to get his resources out. He even said if he had to, he was going to go through Israel. Well, I think when he said that, that was probably the end of his days right there.
And to your point, Officer Yasa, blow it up. Look at Kuwait. Kuwait is right next to Iraq, right? Mm-hmm. If you notice that when they took, the way that Esau carved that out, by the way, the Arabs never created the country called Kuwait. That's Esau did that. Mm-hmm. Yes. Isn't it amazing how Kuwait takes up about 7/8 of Iraq's border with the Persian Gulf? They know exactly what they was doing. Why would you create a country called Kuwait? That's Iraq right there. These people are slick, man. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
Saddam Hussein, he tried to burn up the oil fields before they could get to him because he knew what they were up to. Now they're taking oil out of there how they want.
All praise. Look, Zadiah, you want to say something?
Yes, sir.
Please do.
Blow that map up one last time. I want to show you something. If you go down, you're going to see in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh is under Qatar. It's to the left of Qatar, by the Persian Gulf. Blow it up, that area right there. What you're going to see is, well, you can't see it on this map, but there was another map you had to have Riyadh. In fact, America and Great Britain, there it is, right there. It's at Riyadh. There's a thing going on right now in Saudi Arabia called Riyadh season. All right, they're using entertainment as a way to America and Britain to set up shop over there. So to your point, Captain, Officer Yasser, America is setting it up there, but they're using different ways to get in there. Right now, currently, they're using boxing events under a guy named Turki al-Sheikh, and he's believing that he's doing business with America, but they're setting up right in the middle of Saudi Arabia in that Riyadh area, right in those areas you were talking about.
Tyson Fury just fought Usyk again, and that is huge. And if you look into Saudi Arabia as well, if type in Saudi Arabia major business and type in BlackRock, what you're saying, bro, is very true, because Saudi Arabia, if you notice, it's such a large country, and you never hear about anybody getting bombed.
Right.
You never hear about any rebels uprising. The U.S. is very, very wise. That's why they did the Petra with Saudi Arabia. And this is why you never see issues with America. America actually protects them.
That was the war with Saddam Hussein. They was protecting Saudi Arabia so they could control that oil that's coming out of the Middle East.
If you know what, I threw that on you. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. We'll come up a little bit later. Go to number. I'm going to deviate real quick. I want to show you what happens when you have a destabilized Syria. Number one, Al Jazeera. So, at the end of the day, the victims of this are the Syrian people. And you see that Jordan and also Qatar was like, we want what's best for the Syrian people. Well, as long as it's a destabilized government, the Syrian people, who these governments claim to want to be in support of, they're always going to suffer. It's all by design. All right. Do me a favor, when you tech guys, get me the term Green Beret and force multiplier. Green Beret, U.S. Army, force multiplier. I'm going to show you that the United States, literally, one of their mission objectives is to destabilize governments. And they use an elite special forces to do that. Okay, we can read this, yes, sir. It's an article or video? Yeah, let's read that.
Syria says 14 policemen killed in ambush by forces loyal to al-Assad. Attack comes after police imposed curfews following protests prompted by an online video of an attack on an Alawite shrine.
No, we'll wait. I'm just looking at this.
Members of the Syrian police have been killed in an ambush by forces loyal to ousted President Bashar al-Assad and a Tartarus governorate in the latest security challenge for the new administration that come to power about 2 weeks ago.
So America, you know why? The reason why I showed this is, of course, you're going to have some al-Assad rebels that are still there. But they show you this in the news because it looks like it's destabilized. So that's why when Turkey goes in and Israel goes in to take the land that they want to take, well, of course they could. There's no stability. There's no stability. And what you're going to find is that at the center, wherever you see smoke, the fire is being started by either Great Britain or the United States. They want the continued destabilization. So it's been 2 weeks, and it shows that it's not stable, right? So guess what happens? Now the U.S. has used this guy, used to be an al-Qaeda terrorist, right? And now he can't control the government. See? We tried. We knew he was out. We tried. And then that's when they go in and they set up their puppet government. They love this destabilization. And I would not be surprised if the U.S. is behind in even making this up. They toppled Assad's. Now all of a sudden they're popping back up and they have resurging power? No. They create the narrative and cause confusion to continue the role of destabilization. And they use this guy, whatever the hell his name, I forget his name, to as the pretense of, yeah, we're going to see how he does, see if he can bring order to the land. And they recognized, and they said he was the de facto administration from the article number 4 we pulled.
Yeah, that
Yes,
was
sir.
the reason why Israel said they even came on the borders to stop rebels like this. They
Right.
said they was going to come into the borders, but to keep the treaty that they had that was broken when Al-Shabaab got kicked out. Now all of a sudden, now they got rebels up now who they were supposed to be stopping. Meanwhile, they setting curfews on the people. If you don't know, Israel is inside. They moving inside of Syria more and more and more, trying to get towards Damascus.
Right.
But yet and still, they saying that they got these rebels up in here. They were supposed to be up there to stop the rebels.
It is confusion, and it's confusion by design. So now, get me Green Beret. Those of you, Zadiah, you were in the Army. So in the armed forces of the United States, you have what's called the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, the U.S. Marine Corps, the U.S. Air Force, and the U.S. Coast Guard. Within the Army, which is by far the largest branch of, by far, you have different special operations by tier. You have Delta Force, which is tier 1. They are the elite of the elite. Then you have the Green Berets, which are tier 2. Green Berets, their objective, they're called force multipliers. And what that means is they're designed to go in and set up and infiltrate governments, to go and topple governments and set up and train rebels to fight on their behalf. It's called a proxy war. So now let's read that. And when you hear Green Beret, they actually wear, when they become Green Beret through special, it's a very long school, they actually get a beret that sits sideways and is green. That's why they're called Green Berets, but they're special forces troops. Let's read that.
The Green Beret Foundation, GBF, uses concept of force multipliers, which is a military science term for a factor that allows a group of people or weapons to accomplish more than they could without it. The GBF's use of force multipliers is based on the U.S. Army Special Forces primary mission of training.
Stop. The U.S. Army Special Forces primary mean, which is their main mission, is to train and work with partner forces. Well, wait a minute. If I'm going to a foreign government, right, and I'm invading or going behind enemy lines, how am I now partnered with you? I'm going in, I'm going to create a rebel force to be my partner, to do my bidding. Green Berets train other natives of that land to do their bidding. They train them on their weapon systems. They train them on all types of military tactics and warfare. That is the mission of the Green Beret. Read on some more.
Mission of training and working with partner forces to help them solve their country's internal defense issues.
That's slick. So the Green Beret, and do me a favor, pull up the term Tim Kennedy and Green Beret. He's going to tell you, damn, I should have got the video. Tim Kennedy, T-I-M, Kennedy, K-E-N-N-E-D-Y. Tim Kennedy, he's a likable guy. He's an Edomite. He was a Delta Force operative and a Green Beret. And he's going to talk about, if you pull it up, I'll be able to tell you. He's going to tell you what they would do. Or type in Green Beret versus Navy SEALs. Go to YouTube. Please do it on YouTube if you would. That's him. But go to YouTube if you could. I want you to see a Delta Force operative, a Green Beret, tell you, and he's going to brag about it. Tim Kennedy, Green Beret. I'll be able to tell you which one it is. Right there. That's it right there with Jocko. Now, play the first. This is I want you to hear. He's going to brag about. It's basically setting up a force multiplier or setting up a actual the beginnings of an overthrow of a government. Play this.
Next question, number 5. exactly how much better are Green Berets than the SEALs? At what?
Let's stop. Now they're making a comparison. They're both tier 2, Special Forces, Navy SEALs. You heard about them, and Green Berets. We've heard about them, but they're bantering back and forth because we're the best guys ever, right? And they're highly trained. But watch what he's going to make a comment, but it's something that he says I want you to really pay attention, because that's what's going on in all these countries, and because we think it's cool the way they jump out of the planes and doing all this cool stuff, throwing grenades. Listen to their mission. Play.
I think we have to, the first, just like me at 21 years old, I didn't understand the difference. So every special mission unit has a pretty well-defined mission, and all of them are different. I would never want to get in a gunfight with a bunch of Navy SEALs on a boat anywhere near the water. I mean, within like miles of water.
Right. So now so the guy is interviewing him is a Navy SEAL. So he's giving him the Navy SEAL. What he's about to say is he's going to describe a force multiplier from a Green Beret. Watch what he says and do not, it's not a joke. Just listen, play.
A catastrophe. I also don't think that there's anyone on the planet besides Special Forces that can do a force multiplier like we can. You can take 12 of us.
Stop. I want to draw attention to this. They're small teams. He says you can take 12 of us. Are you listening, y'all at home? Take 12 of us, Green Berets. Read, play.
Do a force multiplier like we can. You can take 12 of us, you can drop us in Venezuela, leave us there for 6 months, and we probably overthrew the government and placed the new president, in place and running the economics, the power plants, the commerce, transportation, and like each of us, the 12 of us, have like married at least 4 or 5 Venezuelans. Be like, that's people don't understand like why we have to speak other languages, why we have to go through it.
And this is what you don't understand. The reason why Esau is who he is trained so effectively in the art of war. Green Berets are designed, and he's like joking, but he's telling the truth. They train their men to learn different languages of the land, learn the cultural customs. They grow their beards out. They don't wear high and tights and shave up and everything, wear their BTUs, which is your army uniform. This is what they do. And the reason why is, get me Micah chapter 2, is because in order to take things, you have to have a system that's effective. They take whatever they want. They have units. This is how slick they do it. When you're a kid, you want to be in the military. You think of Navy SEAL, Green Beret, Army Delta, Marine Recon, Airport. You think of all the cool stuff. They make it so marketable. But they are international. Anyways, read that.
You want verse 2?
Yes.
Chapter 2, verse 2. The book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 2. And they covet fields.
So the first thing that they do is they see a port, pull up the map of Saudi Arabia, of the Arabian Peninsula. They're not happy with the fact that they have the wealthiest country already, with secure borders oceans on both sides, 800 and some odd military bases. But then they look at, pull the map you had before. I'd like to see the oceans if I could. Right there. So they said, you know what? I like the way that Egypt has the Suez Canal. You know what? It'd be good if I could maybe create my own. Well, Chuck, we've got to deal with the Gaza problem. Well, we can concoct something to do this. Well, what about Yemen? That port right there, that strait would be a hell of a thing to be able to control that. Well, if I go ahead and I create a problem with the Houthis, maybe set the Houthis up 20 years and create a puppet government, feed them all type of resources and funds, and create a mission for them 10 years out. And now when I want to utilize them, now I can utilize them. That's a force multiplier. And that's what this country does, meaning the U.S., all throughout the world. And they did it in Venezuela. They did it in they did all these Central American countries to destabilize the lands so that they can control the resources. Read on.
And take them by violence.
And in order, you just can't go in and bomb stuff. You create a problem. You created instability like they did in the Panama Canal. Oh, you can't defend the Panama Canal? We've got a gun in and we got to take control of it. That's what they're highly effectively trained in: espionage, in the art of war. You heard what he said. We read the force. Now he's telling you what they will do and bragging about it. Esau is the wicked of the earth. Wherever he goes and creates a border, wickedness follows. That's why Kuwait, 30 years ago, they never celebrated, or 40, never celebrated Christmas in Kuwait. Now there's Christmas in strip clubs and homosexuality in Kuwait, which is Iraq's border, which we pointed out earlier. Esau creates this. He created all of this. Go ahead, Syria'S.
So that's why you can call him the devil. He is a deceiver. Wherever he goes, he deceives. He mentioned that not only would they do violence, but he said within 6 months they would have 4 wives. I am speaking in the mic. Y'all don't hear me? All right. So in 6 months, he would have four wives. And so this is the same MO that they use all over the world, as Cap's bringing out. They believe in a policy that comes all the way back from the Greeks when that land was taken. They believe in out of the ashes, the phoenix will arise. What they really saying is they'll tear it down and rebuild it the way that they want to build it, you know. And that's just what he just said. You know, they'll have taken over all of the economical resources. They'll have, you know, the whole economic system of a country within 6 months. So he's basically admitting that they've done this, like down in Venezuela, in other countries, like they try to do in Cuba and other nations. You know, sometimes they get it done. They don't get it done every time, but it's the same modus. How you say that? Modus operandi everywhere on the planet that they do.
And this is why, when you think about it, if you look at all the other militaries of the entire world and combine all of their bases, it doesn't even add up to half of the U.S. bases. This is why we understand that Esau is the great whore. Esau is Babylon the Great. Esau is the one that kings have committed fornication with them. Now, get number 2. It's a timestamp for you. I want to show you that we've covered on many shows about the rising of BRICS, and there was a convention in Russia, and now we have 9 new members, and we're going to pull some stats. It's a couple minutes to show you that, remember, Esau covets things. He's not going to allow BRICS to go but so far because it's really turning up. This guy's pretty good source.
BRICS continues to grow in influence and is becoming one of the most important organizations on Earth. BRICS is a global South-led forum that was founded in 2009 by Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and then in 2010, South Africa joined. Since then, BRICS has continued to grow. In 2024, 4 new countries were officially admitted as full members, which include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. And then at a historic summit in the Russian city of Kazan in October 2024.
Paul, so we're talking 2 months ago. There was a whole, and a lot of times people slept on this because this was during the time of right around before the election of Trump building up. And this is now 13 additional ones. So watch what they're going to say.
13 more countries were officially invited to become partner countries of BRICS. In December, Russia confirmed that 9 of those 13 countries have accepted the invitation, and on the 1st of January 2025, the following 9 countries will now become partner countries of BRICS.
Pause. Today's the 26th of December. On Wednesday, next Wednesday, so 6 days, 5 days from now, this goes into effect. Belarus is Eastern Europe. Bolivia is South America. Indonesia is like the 5th most popular nation on the planet Earth. Kazakhstan, remember Captain Matthew mentioned that before. Kazakhstan is a huge country that borders. Pull up a map of Kazakhstan, please. Y'all got to understand, look at the size of Kazakhstan. It's yellow. It borders Russia. Perfect. So now think about it. Already you've got all of Russia, all of China, all of Egypt. You've got India, thank you, South Africa. Look at Belarus. Belarus is in right near, you can't see it. Very good. Guess what? That's right there on top of Ukraine borders Russia. Look at how Russia's fortifying. Look at the size of Kazakhstan. It's significantly, it's bigger than Mongolia. It's bigger than Kazakhstan is like the 6th or 7th largest country in the world. It dwarfs, Ukraine is a big country. It's damn near bigger than India. Look at the size of Kazakhstan, all right? This is very, very important. And when you look at the overall ability of now BRICS economically with the sheer number of countries, and it's really happening now. It's gonna go in effect in January of the next year coming up. Be very mindful of that. Go ahead, brother.
And Cap, the way they're setting up, this isolates a great amount of those European nations. Ukraine falls, Poland's in the hole. They stuck in the corner right there. And then Sweden and Finland them are up to the right, and they're cut off. So that's why the U.S. and the European nations are fighting so hard to contain Russia where they at. But it doesn't look like they can hold them at this point. They putting the smackdown on the Ukraine.
Cuba is important because remember the Cuban Missile Crisis and went with the embargoes since 1959. That's right up the shores of America. That's about 90 miles south of Florida. You've got Bolivia, which is right next to Brazil. Brazil's already a member of BRICS. So you gotta see what's going on here, y'all.
And remember, Russia had ships pull up
Yes,
to Cuba.
that's
Look
right.
how close that is to the U.S. That Russia just saying, you know, they've already said, put the challenge out there. We'll shoot a bomb. Let's see if you can shoot it down. But they're challenging the United States and the European nations' authority to rule the world. And remember, Russia is one of the head of the dragons too.
Now, go to not Niger, but Nigeria. So I think there's Nigeria right there in the yellow. I know it's kind of hard to find. Blow it up. This is important about Nigeria. Nigeria is a member that was accepted as a partner. They did not deny it, but they did not accept it yet. Nigeria has it's not the largest country geographically. It has the most people, and I believe it is the richest nation out of all of the Africa. Nigeria has a huge number of people, and that is also on BRICS radar. Remember that also we had the United Arab Emirates is there. Iran is part of Egypt is part of them, and also Ethiopia. And they're making moves. They're making chess moves. Go back to that article. We're not going to spend too much. It's video rather. Sorry. Yep.
Bolivia, Cuba, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, and Uzbekistan. And then the other 4 countries that were invited but have not yet accepted the invitation include Algeria, Nigeria, Turkey, and Vietnam.
Pause. Now, go back to the map of Turkey is, remember they were going to be accepted before. Erdogan he's playing politics right now. Look at Turkey. Think about this. Iran is in BRICS already. Saudi Arabia was accepted. They did not go this round. Egypt is in. Ethiopia is in. If Turkey goes in, they have not denied it yet. And remember, it said Nigeria. Nigeria is the largest population and the biggest economy in all of Africa, even though it's not a huge country. They are doing things that the U.S. cannot ignore but for too long. That's why Donald Trump made threats. If you do not deal in the dollar, we're going to sanction all of y'all. And after a while, they're not going to work. And what's going to happen? The U.S. is going to use military force to get their way. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. How are all these nations going to turn on the U.S.? What's going to make them do that? Well, we're going to see. Go back. We got another 8 minutes.
Russia made it clear that those 4 countries could potentially join as well. They did not reject the invitation, but as of the end of 2024, they had not given an official response. So I made a map that shows the composition of BRICS as of the 1st of January, 2025. And now there are 9 full members of BRICS. There are 9 partner countries. There are 4 countries that have been invited to be partners but have not yet officially given an answer. There is 1 country that was invited to be a full member that has not given an answer, that's Saudi Arabia. And there was 1 country that was invited to be a full member but rejected the offer, which is Argentina. When it was originally invited to join, Argentina's center-left government of President Alberto Fernandez said that he was going to join. But then before officially Argentina was accepted, the very right-wing pro-US leader Javier Milei came to power, and he rejected the offer before Argentina officially joined in January of 2024. So what's noteworthy, as you can see on the map, is that BRICS is very powerful in Asia, and it's growing as well in Africa. There are 4 countries that are now part of BRICS officially, and there are 2 more that may be part of BRICS in the near future, Algeria and Nigeria. And Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa. Algeria has the largest landmass in Africa. Over in Latin America, there are now 3 countries in BRICS, including the largest and most populous country in the region, Brazil, with the biggest economy, also including Bolivia and Cuba. Of course, Cuba is a country that has been suffocated for over 60 years by an illegal U.S. blockade. The U.S. is...
If you get a chance, watch the rest of this video because he actually breaks it down by GDP, gross domestic product, and real-time agriculture. And what you're going to find out is 41% of the world's GDP are in BRICS partner and nations. And I believe it's over 50% of the population of the world are in the BRICS nations. And it's steady growing and growing. Why do I bring this out? Because the U.S. is losing its dollar power. And when the boss at the top goes down, he's sinking. What does he try to do if he's sinking and he can't breathe anymore? He's going to try to take everybody else down with him. We're living at a time, y'all, that is Donald Trump will be in power in 25, 26 days. Everything that's going on, we just had, with the next part of the show, we're going to come back. The Houthis attacked Israel with ballistic missiles and were successful. And today and the day before, they have attacked Yemen. When we come back from break, we're going to show you that. This is happening, news as of 2 hours. I got an article 2-3 hours ago. This is going on right now. And while it's going on, we have to do this. Give me 2 Corinthians 6:17 and Revelation 18, verse 4. We all sick. I got a lot of problems, and so do you. But we know we the Israelites, and we must endure. We must endure these wicked and horrible times.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate.
How are we separate? Is when we're holy. When you go into the break room at work and you see the Christmas organization, Christmas things and stockings and all that, to be separate means you walk into another room. Or you might say, hey, I hope you have a good weekend. Hey, Merry Christmas, you. I hope you enjoy your time off. We have to purposely strive to be separate, because that's us. We are a holy people, separate unto God. By when we keep his laws and we come out of this place, man, this place is ripe like a fruit for picking. And that when that fruit gets ripe, the war is coming. We have never been closer. Look at what's going on right now. Okay, read on.
Saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing.
What is the unclean thing? All the high holidays of this world, the lust of fornication, the lust of adultery, all these things that we are exposed to daily. Hatred, evil eye, okay? Unclean foods, contaminated foods. We have to fight through all these things and be unified. So, yes, it's depressing. You see all these things going on. But it's for us to know that we are living in the days and the plagues will come soon. Read on.
And I will receive you.
How is he going to receive us? When we give me Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. Because we are going to be sick and tired of seeing this stuff. You go into a store right now, well, they just got the stupid Christmas seasons. Now everything is a build-up for the new year. I had a lady stop me today, a black lady at the airport. I left my iPad at the airport. Thank the Lord I found it. And the lady said to me before I left, she was all by herself, black woman, and she said, Happy New Year. I said, I can't take it. No one else is around. I said, sis, let me ask you a question. I said, do you really think that the new year starts January 1st? I said, and I just said, think about it. Things that are new grow. Why would you think that? And I tried to tell her all that, and I broke it down a little bit. It took about a minute to say we're related to Moses and everybody like that. And then after I'm getting ready to leave, you know what the dumb sister says to me? Happy New Year again. So this is why I realize it can get you depressed. I know. Thank you for that.
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
It's a spirit.
It is.
They get you like you walking in the store and they start playing that music about Santa Claus and kissing mom and all this stuff. We done heard this stuff
Our lives.
for the last 30 years. And they try to get you with that, right? So it's everywhere. And like you say, we just have to be holy, apart from them. You know, they come with the bonus checks and you're coming to the Christmas party, you know. But they know, you know, if they know who you are and what you're about, they'll be, oh, don't give him that little card, that little bonus thing.
Just be mindful of this. And this is the time of year when we get weak and we want to go to see our family. You got to be strong, because what you're doing is you are separating yourself from things that are not of our world. We're not of this world, okay? Is that in 2 Corinthians?
Yes, sir. You want that Ezekiel or
Ezekiel
Revelation?
9 and 4, then Revelation. Then we're going to go to break.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for that timer.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city.
Now, the midst of the city, when this is talking about, when they come through the midst of the city, it's not going to be we're all going to be in one city. Like, oh, he's coming to Bridgeport, Connecticut. He's coming to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That doesn't make any sense. All the Israelites are not going to be in Milwaukee. This is talking about Jerusalem. He's going to be all where Israel is at. When they come through, they're going to be able to tell who is going to be saved and who's going to be destroyed. Now, watch what he says. Read on.
Through the midst of Jerusalem.
He says it, Jerusalem. Read on.
And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
So wherever we're at, we're going to come out of that. And the Lord sees that. The Lord sees you striving to be righteous, to be on the right side. Casting down imaginations. Jeremiah 10, that Christmas is of the devil. New Year's has nothing to do with the new year. And everybody knows it except for the dumb people over here the last 200 years. Now get me Revelation 18. We're going to go to break.
Yes, sir. The book of Revelation, chapter
And stick
18.
around. We come back. We're going to go into what's happening in Yemen and what's happening in that part of the world between the Israelis and the Yemen Houthis. Read.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
And the only way that's going to happen is when we're in the Caribbean islands, where we're in these American cities, when we're in Solomon Islands, and the prophets of the Lord are going to say through the words of God, stop sinning, come out of this world. You need to turn back to the Father. You're the Israelites. You must change. You must repent. God ain't going to come down and say, hey, you black man down here in Chicago, stop doing drugs. It's never going to happen. The prophets are the mouthpiece of God. We are the mouthpiece of God. We speak the words of the Lord, and we say, read it again.
Come out of her, my people.
He didn't say come out of her, all people. He said, the Israelites, you got to come out of this world, Israel. Read on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
And her sins are going up to heaven. That's why you got gender. Biden is, I just saw something on the General where it said they're passing laws where doctors are not passing laws. Doctors are trying to do as many sex change operation to children under 18 before Trump takes office. This is the sick thing of this world. And you've got people that actually will say they're for it, and other people will actually say, well, I don't really know what's going on in their body. I don't want to judge it. No, you should judge. That's evil as hell. You're going. I'm gonna show how wicked these people are. Let's change it from gender mutilation to pinky manipulation. If you ever try to cut the tip of someone's pinky off as a child, you're going to jail. You're going to cut a child's finger off, a tip of a digit of the pinky. Everyone would agree that's evil. But you will allow someone to cut off their private parts, and they're not even, men that are 21 are not in their right mind. This is the sick, and that's just one of the many sins we're dealing with. This is a horrible place. Read on.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
And the plagues that are coming are one of thermonuclear destruction. And this is why we know that prophetically, if I was an Arab, I would say, well, damn, man, I thought we had a chance, this and that. But what you don't understand is, even if Esau looked like he's going to run everything, the Lord is, according to 2nd Esdras, the Lord is going to put it in the spirit of the Ishmaelites to remember their nature. So it doesn't matter what happens over there. We're just showing you the things that are happening now. It could change next year. But we know that they're going to rise up and they're going to come against Esau. We know that. It's prophetic. So look, Israel, with that, stick around for a commercial break. We're going to come back and go into the second part of the show about Yemen and the Houthis. All right? Shalom.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. My name is Captain Shem, IUIC New Orleans. Help us to grow. YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notification. And now it's even easier, y'all.
Hey, and also part of New Orleans Camp, we got the community cleanups. Cleaning up our neighborhood one at a time.
What y'all waiting for? Subscribe.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe!
Have a good vibe. There's so much wrong going on in the world, but somehow we keep it all smile.
Subscribe and follow us on all social media accounts. We got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Rumble, and YouTube. Make sure y'all follow IUIC New Orleans. Shalom.
Tell me if you feel me, clap your hands up.
Hey, also, we got flyer missions every day and also camp videos. Check us out, IUIC New Orleans.
So remember, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget the QR code. When the QR code comes out, don't forget to take your phone out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why isn't it done? Shalom, Israel.
Have a good time. That's what we say. All praises to
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Bishop Nathaniel here. Hey, March 2025, we're going to have a Land Blitz fundraiser. So what I need you all to do is hit the QR code, whatever that thing is right there, Fill it out on all our social media platforms because we blitzing. We need this land. We got to get this fundraiser done, Israel. I'm trusting you. Get it done.
Cap, what's a land blitz fundraiser? Exactly what it is. We blitzing for the land. One day, with a large goal, we're gonna raise the funds for the land. That's my goal, that's my mission, and we're gonna make it happen. And I need your help to get it done. There's a link on the Bishop's Instagram and all of our social medias. Click on that link and fill it out. What you're going to do is, you're going to estimate what amount of donation you can make on this one day. On that day, you can also make random donations. But those of you that are watching this video now, we want to get an estimate of how hard we're going to have to go when we blitz. There will also be an in-house event. Y'all remember the Journey to Freedom? This is going to be bigger and better, live from Atlanta. You better get your tickets now, because probably after this announcement, it's going to be sold out. Only 400 tickets. But guess what? All the funds are going to the land. So get it now. Get it now.
We're the Israelites, the real Jews, and you so-called Mexican or the tribe of Esau. It's time to rise up. ¡Ustedes son la tribu de Isaacar!
Right now, Tijuana, Mexico is one of the deadliest countries on the planet. We got leadership teaching Levi. We got leadership teaching Issachar. We got Zebulon.
And my brother, he's strong in the Lord. His wife, his wife, his wife, his wife, his wife, his wife, his wife.
Upon Precept. Put up the thumbnail real quick in case some of y'all just join us. So Zadiah, if you could run that down one more time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you notice, we have the crossbones with the scar with the American flag on it, representing the death and the war that America is bringing upon the nations at this time. And you can see that star of Molech, that is not the star of Israel. That's the star of Molech that's on the helmet, that Kevlar. And if you notice in the background, you'll see drones. We're actually having drone strikes all over the Middle East and in Russia and Ukraine at this time. You can see Apache helicopters if you look real closely, and also the Middle East map in the background where you can see that's where all the wars are taking place. Syria'S not enough. Esau, Yemen.
So in that excellent rundown, you see the drones. Pull up the video. Yemen bombs or use drones. I think it is. It says drone strikes Israel. It's a quick video from Sky News. Yes, sir. Thank you. This happened several days ago. So check it out. Okay, no problem.
Houthi drone strikes near U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv. Footage shows an explosion caused by a drone attack on Tel Aviv in Israel.
Крестюш, ты видишь, что это такое? Пиздец.
The drone made by Iran was fired by Yemen's Houthi rebels and was the first fatal strike by the group on Israel. The drone struck close to the U.S. Embassy in the central of the city.
That's crazy because Yemen is so far. That drone had to fly. I got to see how many miles Saudi Arabia is, but that's a long way, Cap.
It's a long way. And here's the thing that's amazing to me is that when this is why it's almost a joke. The amount of tens of thousands of women and children that they've destroyed in Gaza and in southern Lebanon, and the destruction that they did to building up block after block after block after block after block. When you see a drone hit Israel, they make a big deal out of it like it's such a terrible thing. There have been, comparatively speaking, tens of people that have died in Israel compared to tens of thousands of Palestinian Arabs. And most of them that have been killed by the IDF or the Israelis are non-combatants. They are women and children. But because they see all Arabs, this is the way they really see them, as they just want to wipe out all Arabs. They don't put any value on their life. But anytime a small explosion happens in Israel, because it's affecting Caucasians, the Israelis, oh, it's a big deal. And you see their tears and their pain. But the Palestinians, we blew up a hospital. We blew up peacekeepers because we thought there was somebody tunneling under the hospital. You got to see, again, it goes back to Esau controls and runs the narrative of the earth, the narrative of the media, rather. He runs all the militaries of the earth. He has control of mostly all the nuclear weapons. This is how we know the Bible is true. It does not shock us. It doesn't seem unfair. It is the way it is because God set it up. If you do not have the lens of the Bible, you will see this world is so unfair. It's so a victim. We don't have a victim mentality. We're not victims. We are under the curses because of we broke the laws of God, and we are in here. But now we can see clearly. We can see exactly why this is going on in Syria. Why are the Yemenis trying to bomb all the way to Israel? Why are these things happening? We know why. Prophecy has to come to pass. Okay, the least of the flock has to draw the U.S. into this. They have to draw them in. Okay, and they're going to draw the U.S. into this. Oh, yeah, wow.
So it was 2,221 kilometers. But I don't know what drone could fly 700 to 800 miles. So it's more going on. Saudi being quiet, but those Yemen people got to be somewhere in Saudi to be able to even reach Israel with a drone that far.
And that's a flight time if you were to fly like a 737 that flies at 567 miles an hour. Those drones don't fly anywhere near that. So the good point. Yeah. These Arabs probably have little cells in these other Arab countries around and are working together. So now, go to the next one. It is from Al Jazeera, and we're running out of time. Where is it? No, not the Yemen airport. Number 6. So here's a video. We're just showing you, remember that the Houthis attacked Israel because why? Because Israel has been bombing the crap out of their brothers in Gaza. Okay, they're fighting for the honor and the right of the Palestinians to live. And not that, by the way, real quick, not that we damn sure don't agree with the Israeli Jewish men, they call themselves Israeli, and we don't agree with the Palestinian Arabs. It's kind of horrible to see that happen to them. But their people during the trans-Saharan slave trade treated our people horribly for over 1,000 years. And they still enslave some of our brothers from Northern Africa right now, the Arabs. So they don't get a pass either. But we're just showing you what's going on.
Cap, I seen a video with Candace Owen, and she's bringing out how the Israelis are burning up children. And so nobody wants to see little children burned up no matter where they at any time.
Right.
And this is constantly going on. They have no mercy. Like the scripture says, they don't have any respect for the elderly, the women, nobody. They kill everything. They want everything, the whole planet.
The whole planet. That's a fact. So now the Houthis, this is a ballistic missile. You're going to hear the sirens go off and then the Iron Dome and all that. But they breached the city. Play that.
Houthis fire ballistic missile at central Israel.
And again, when you compare the damage that they've done to Gaza and the West Bank, there is absolutely no comparison. And it just goes to show you that a small speck of a country like Israel has the power to control damn near that whole region. As a matter of fact, pull up a map of Iran. Iran is so much larger. It's got so many more tens of millions of people, a huge country comparatively speaking. Iran is gigantic. Now, pull up a map of the Middle East again, if you could. If you, like Officer Yaza said, Israel's so small, it's west of Jordan. Look at how many Israels you could fit in Iran. Hell, look how many you could fit multiple Israels in Syria alone. The Egyptian Arabs, the Jordanian Arabs, the Syrian Arabs, the Iraqi Arabs, the Iranians. Some are Arabs over there, but they're and the Saudi Arabian Arabs, the Yemenis Arabs, the Oman Arabs. All of these Arabs over here are all controlled by that little area. If that's not Bible prophecy, the earth is given to these people to control all that. They rule by war. They rule by force multipliers. They destabilize governments through their advanced military evil tactics.
Cap, I could bring some.
Absolutely, please do. Please do.
All right. I got to make this public service announcement. We are not Iranian and Russia sympathizers. We're on God's side. And what we're doing on Precept Upon Precept is bringing out geopolitical facts so y'all can understand what's going on. Can I bring up one precept just to show that we're on the Lord's side? And this is thus saith the Lord. Give me Revelations 17 and verse 16.
Bring it out.
We're going to show you what God says, what's going to happen to America before all the deeds that Cap is bringing out here on Precept on Precept. Go ahead and read that.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
The 10 horns is the European Union. Why? Because America's going to have Europe broke with all the sanctions and all of the Brexit that's going on. They're going to withhold their economics from America, which is going to cause inflation here in America, which is going to cause Americans to go broke. Read on.
These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked.
That's from that nuclear fire, those missiles. When they come here to America, they're going to make it desolate. I want you to think dark pillow clouds, fire, buildings burning, kids not outside, swings set on fire. Things that you would normally see that will give you a delight in your day is going to be turned to ash. Read on.
And shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
That's what's coming to America for all of these wickedness that's being brought out here on tonight. That's all I got.
And that's a fact. That's a beautiful point. And we're letting you see these things. Now, go back to the next one. I'm still on. No, I think that's it. Now, we're going to change gears. So now, in retaliation to that, strikes on Israel, Tel Aviv, look at number 7. So, actually, I'm sorry. Go to article number 8. And then we'll go back up to 7. So one drone attack and a ballistic missile, and look at what Israel goes back with. Check this out. Article number 8. It's from Reuters. This is a good source, y'all.
Israel strikes Houthi targets in Yemen, killing 6.
This article is from updated 2 hours ago. Okay, this is very, very recent.
Jerusalem, December 26. Israel struck multiple targets linked to the Iranian-aligned Houthi movement in Yemen on Thursday.
That's today.
Including Sana'a International Airport.
So now, this is an international airport. And what we're going to find out is there was a very famous political official that was almost killed from the WOE, I believe it was, World Health Organization. And by the way, he's a Edomite. And he almost got, I believe he's Edomite, he almost got killed. That's like if, like, Louis Armstrong is an international airport. That's like them going to JFK out of New York, Louis Armstrong Airport out of Greater New Orleans, Denver International Airport, and them attacking a public airport where regular civilians are at. This goes to show you the level of evil. Evil. They don't care about Arabs. And if they take out a couple of white guys that happen to be, oh, well, they do not care. Now, go to number 7. It's going to show you the video of the airport attack. I think it's number 7.
And Cap, you notice how when Ishmael, when they attack, they always attacking military bases. They not attacking the civilians.
Right.
But Esau, Israel, no, they're attacking everybody, the civilians and everything.
And to your point, Arabs seem to have more honor of human life.
Mm-hmm.
And like this with Esau, remember we did a show back in the day when they go in, the doctor's like, this is an operating room. What are you talking about? And they had to get all the patients in the ICU and the baby section, infant section, they had to get them out because there was an alleged or an allegation that there might be a tunnel, and they bombed the hospital. It just goes to show you the level. Now, I'm sorry, I wanted 9. 9 is a little bit right to the point. 9 is going to show you in the airport, an international airport with civilians are at. There's not a military base. There's no tunnels under the runways. Let's show you. Imagine if you were there.
People rush through Sana'a International Airport shrouded in dust. After Israel said it hit multiple Houthi targets in Yemen. Parts of the capital airport were badly damaged.
And that's the capital city of Yemen. And that's like, for example, the capital city of Yemen, that's like the capital city of the U.S. Let's say hitting D.C., hitting D.C.'s major airport. That's the equivalent. Yemen is a whole country. And because the Houthis are a rebel force and again, they're attacking a country's capital airport because of a drone strike and because of a ballistic missile. And they also attacked 5 other places in Yemen. And this just happened within the last 24 hours. Okay, play on. Damn, they hit the tower.
The airport came under attack while the head of the World Health Organization was boarding a plane.
Pull up the current head of the World Health Organization. And he's probably an Edomite. And this is the only reason why they probably get him any type of thing. See if we can get see if we can get a picture of this guy. Bear with us, y'all. We want to see this. Again, this happened. I believe this happened either earlier in the day today. Dr. Tedros. It don't sound like an Edomite name. Okay, no, he might be Jake. Shoot, he's probably Arabic.
Ethiopian.
So he's a man of color. That is a man of color. He might be Israel. Hey, you know what? Some of the Ethiopians are Israelites. Some of them. Okay. So that's that guy again. This is an important figure, and he almost got killed. His plane was either taken off or on the runway, and again, they're targeting a civilian airport and an international airport in the capital of Yemen. This goes to show you they do not discriminate, they do not care. Okay, because remember when Iran launched all those missiles on Israel, they were hitting, like Officer Thomas said, strategic military targets. They didn't attack the Tel Aviv airport. They didn't do these things. Again, this Esau does what he wants, and then if you try him on an international court, he just says that doesn't apply to me. It doesn't apply to me. He can't be held accountable, and that's why you have to have the God of Israel, because he is going to make them accountable in ways they cannot even imagine.
That's right.
Okay. Play that.
Tedros Adhanom said a crew member on the plane was injured.
Damn.
Military infrastructure in port towns were also hit, as well as power stations.
All right, go to number 7. This is Al Jazeera. This is a good, it's an article with a video, and I believe I time-stamped it 0 to 153. So we're going to read the article, and then we'll go play the first. Let's read the article first, and then we'll play the timestamp video. Al Jazeera is another, one of the better sources you're going to find.
Israel strikes Yemen's Sana'a airport, Hudaya power plant.
We just heard about that, and we're going to read a little bit more about it.
Israel's military says it struck multiple targets linked to the Houthi rebels in Yemen.
My question is this. What does the Sana'a International Airport, which is a civilian airport that takes flights from all over the world, what does that have to do with the Houthis? Really think about it. Do the rebels run the airport? No, they do not. So just the character of the Israeli is a man of no heart. He regards not young, not old. He does not care. Okay? Read on.
Including Sana'a International Airport and 3 ports along the western coast. The attacks carried out on Tuesday.
Wait a minute. Pull up a map of Yemen. Because the west coast of Yemen, that was close to the strait we talked about earlier. Isn't Iran, why aren't they attacking the center of Yemen? Why not the eastern part of Yemen? Why the west coast of Yemen? Again, Esau is not, they know what they want. They know what they want. If I can control the bottleneck and I can control the Sinai Peninsula, I get rid of the Suez Canal, I dig my own canal, I blow up all the buildings and kill all the people in Gaza. There's a direct port that I can dig right through the Mediterranean Sea. Now I control everything. Esau is the devil. What? Oh, okay. Say that again, Akim. Okay. All right, they hit that, and there's the airport. Look at the airport. That's the airport right there. There's some other airports down a little bit lower. Israel knows what they're doing, meaning the Israeli, they are, again, look at the size of Yemen. Why are they focused on that small southwestern tip? It's control of the waterway. Esau wants to control everything. They don't give a damn about where the Yemen meets Oman and the upper. There's nothing over there for them. They don't care about none of that. Okay. Go back in the article. We're almost done, y'all.
All right. The attacks carried out on Thursday hit Yemen's Hezah and Ras Kanatib power stations, as well as military infrastructures in the ports of the Hudaydah, Salif, and Ras Kanatib, the military said.
Let's look at those three names. Can you pull up the map again of just Yemen? And I'm willing to bet that all of those cities are around that protruding peninsula. I guarantee it's over there. All of that. If you can blow it up. Best you can. Is it Arabic writing? I can't really tell. Okay, so that strait is called the Bab el Mandeb Strait. That strait right there is very, very important. It's hard to read, but
make that left side bigger. The whole left side.
You can see Sinai right there. That big capital right there.
Yeah,
okay.
that's it.
Go pull up. If you can keep the map there, let's go back to the article and read those three names. Just see if we can track. So one is called Salif and Ras Kanatab and Hudaydah. Now remember those names. Go back to the map. Do the best you can.
Left side. Arm up again.
Hudaydah off. There you go.
Yep. And that's right on the coast. That's a port right there.
What's the other one? Zadab?
That's all right. We know that they're in that region. We do know that. Again, when you think about, do me a favor, type in the number of ships that go through I can't pronounce the damn thing, the strait. Somebody write that word down. Take the strait, and there's just like the Panama Canal, just like there's a number of ships that pass through there. Just give me something about traffic, and just to show you, because that leads to the Suez Canal. All right, let's go to, I got to give time for Scott Ritter. Let's do this. So now, all that being said, you see what's going on. They're attacking right now. Today, 6 major areas, one to include an international airport. They are attacking Yemen as of today. Now, who's next? I'm going to tell you who's next. Iran is next. Go to number 10. This guy, we've had him before. He is a professor he's an Iranian professor. He's going to talk about what if Iran has to go to war. It's 2:11 to 5:38. And then we're going to go to Scott Ritter. We don't have enough time for anything else, but just be mindful that many people are going to tell you about Yemen and the airport. Look deeper. Why is Esau want to be there? Why is he doing all of that for a drone attack and all that for that? No, he knows what he wants to do. Okay? Give me the info about this strait, because I still can't pronounce the name. Okay. Yes. No, it's got to be, I bet you, 20,000 annually? No. Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
20,000 oil tankers.
That, yeah, those are probably huge ships. And I don't even believe that. I think it's a lot more than that. But, I mean, we're just going to go what they say. That's AI. That's AI overview. If we look to do a little bit better search. All right, well, anyways, it's saying 20,000 vessels passing through the strait annually. The average annual cargo volume transported through the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb Strait was nearly 1.6 billion tons from 2020 to 23, making it one of the most crucial shipping pathways and maritime choke points in the world. And that's exact. It is a bottleneck or a choke point, and they control that. They are going to control. They control the bottom of the bottleneck, and where's the top of the bottleneck? The top of the bottleneck is the Suez Canal. If you redivert that, you can control that whole pipeline that connects the Indian Ocean, all of the Arabian areas of ports, all the way up to Europe. Because the Mediterranean Sea gets you all the way to France, gets you to Italy, gets you to all those countries. You can even pass through the other strait and get to England. They want control. That's what they're all after. Okay. Get me number 10. We're not going to have time to get to Scott Ritter tonight. That's okay.
I think I didn't actually read.
By the way, these are professors. Their job is professional studies. They're boring and dry, but listen to what he's saying.
Statement put out by the Yemeni armed forces. But my understanding is that it sort of implied that they fired the drones and missiles at the U.S. warships in a manner to create confusion, and that the Americans downed their own jet. Whether the
what he just said? He said that the Americans. So if I wanted to create, say if I want to go take over the Houthis, if I'm willing to send drones up or send planes up and just blow some of them up, maybe I tell the fighter pilot to eject. He gets orders to, and you might lose a $10 million vessel, a couple $1 million drones and now you say, well, it came from over there. What he's saying is a lot of this stuff, they make stuff up, just like they did in Rosewood. They make up a lie about a rape. There was nobody raped a white woman. This is what they do. This is their MO. That's why the Green Berets are force multipliers. They go in, they set up public. You heard what Mr. Tim Kennedy said. This is what they do. They are experts at sabotage, war, cover-up, espionage, and deception. This is war. And this guy sees through it. Play.
Jet. Whether I may be interpreting it wrong. I haven't read the statement myself, and I should have. But whether the Yemeni armed forces downed it or the Americans downed this jet that costs over $100 million each, it really doesn't matter. It just shows it shows the incompetence of the U.S. military, and it shows how difficult it is to deal with Yemen. And it also shows that no matter how much the United States bombs Yemen and murders citizens, which they've done repeatedly, Yemen continues to strike the Israeli regime. It continues to strike ships that break the siege on the Israeli regime, a siege that was put in place as since the Yemeni government, Ansarullah, said that they are implementing the Genocide Convention. And they said that as long as the genocide in Gaza is taking place, the siege will continue. So the Americans have failed in breaking the siege to help the Israelis carry out genocide more easily. That is extraordinary. It shows the resilience of the resistance. Hezbollah is very much intact, very much prepared in case the war goes on. And yes, there are people who've questioned Iran, but as I said before the previous Iranian strike, it is inevitable, and this is also inevitable. The Iranians have calculations to make, especially after the fall of Syria. They have to prepare their air defenses. They have to prepare air defenses in case they.
What he's talking about now is Iran preparing for a war with Israel and the U.S. And what he's saying is, if the attack comes, they're going to have their air defense, their naval defense. This is what he's saying. And the American perspective is that we'll just bulldoze over Iran. right? And they don't stand a chance. But what we're forgetting is that Iran is backed by Russia. Iran is impacted with BRICS now. They're not going to, China is a close by. They're not going to stand by. There's 140 million people. It is a huge country with a large economy that has allies. But America is so prideful and the least of the flock. Give me that, Jeremiah. What would make a little brother draw the big brother into a war that he can't handle? That's what's going to happen. It's called God the Father is going to use all of these nations at his will to create the Armageddon scenario. The Valley of Armageddon. That's Jeremiah 54. 50, there's two of them. You can use that one. Use that one. That's fine.
Yes, sir. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord.
So the counsel of the Lord is that he's going to use Israel, the United States, and all of the Arabs that are going to remember their nature. Why? Because from the beginning of time, God planned this. When you read in Isaiah, he said, declaring the end from the beginning. Mosai knows everything. We just have to have faith and be on his side. All right, read on.
That he had taken against Babylon.
Against who?
Against Babylon.
Now, yes, this scriptures are twofold. Some of the times he talks about Babylon, ancient Babylon, but this time he's going to be talking about Babylon the Great. Read on.
And his purposes that he had purposed against the land of the Chaldeans.
Against the land of the Chaldeans. Read on.
Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out.
The least of the flock now is talking about the Israeli, because the Babylon is talking about the flock of Israel. It's not talking about the ancient Babylonians that were brown people. It's not talking about that. Read on.
Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them.
He's going to make their habitation desolate. How is he going to do that? Everybody, like Zediah brought up, everybody is going to hate America, even his NATO allies. And we see the division right now. France wanted to do a deal in the yen with China. You had another country in Europe who wanted to join BRICS, and NATO shut that down. Germany's economy is imploding. Why? Because all their cheap oil and natural gas that they got from Russia directly to their shores was blown up. It's happening right now. Read on.
Verse 46. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved.
How the earth going to move? What's going to make the earth move? Well, we know what that's going to be. The same Revelation 17:16. It's going to be thermal ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missiles. That's what's going to move the earth. And it's not going to be one of them. It's going to be many of them that are going to strike. We brought that out in many shows. Is that it on that?
Dig a little bit more.
Go ahead.
And the cry is heard among the nations.
So you trying to tell me that I'm going to hear somebody cry? If I'm in the U.S., I'm going to hear. If I'm in Yemen, I'm going to hear somebody cry in Saudi Arabia? No. There's going to be so much crying and misery in all these lands. It's going to be terrible what happens. Thermonuclear war is going to be horrible. And when it comes, that's why he says he's the king of terrors. What more terror when you know there's nothing you can do to get out of it, and your life is done. You have nothing more to live for, and you got 45 seconds, 45 seconds to impact. Knowing the fear and the dread that's going to be instilled in all these nations, and it's nothing they can do about it. So, is that it on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go to, we got time. Pull up Scott Ritter. At the end of the day, this guy, if you get a chance, he basically says that Iran is going to be prepared for war. They're not necessarily going to strike right now, but when it's brought to their doorstep, they are going to be ready. That's what he's saying. Iran is not a pushover, okay? Get Scott Ritter. I want the second timestamp only. And I think that's number 11. It's 2503. We're not going to get to Syria. And war with Iran. This is Scott Ritter. Y'all know his. If you don't know him, you should know him by now. Former chief weapons inspector during the Iraq War, Marine Corps officer, and this guy is very thorough on foreign affairs, both Russia, Ukraine, and of course in the so-called Middle East. Hear what he got to say.
Last question or last subject matter is war with Iran, U.S. and Israel versus Iran likely?
I don't think so. I mean, this is where I'm going to get in trouble with a lot of Iranians out there. But my take on the Iranian president is that he does not want a war, and that he and his moderate faction inside Iran have considerable political clout at this juncture. The more conservative members of the Iranian government, the IRGC and others, are looking for a continuation of this fight. They believe that they have the military capability to do harm to Israel. But the fact of the matter is, if there's a war between Israel and Iran, Israel will suffer as well, very much, but so will Iran. And that's not the direction that the Iranian leadership wants. I remind everybody that in 2023, I met with President Raisi in September at the UN General Assembly, and others. I wasn't there solo, but I listened to him, asked him some questions, etc. He made a point that the effort that was built up around this Kurdish girl who tragically died in Iranian police custody over a hijab violation, led to demonstrations that then were turned into a nationwide insurrection run by various anti-regime forces controlled by foreign intelligence services, including.
Pause. What he said right there, he said, what happened is a lady, she was put in custody, and I guess she had died, and the hijab, I think they call it, which is the woman's head covering. They're supposed to cover their head in public. And what foreign intelligence does is, how do you attack and weaken a society? You start weakening them morally. So if you can get the women to be liberated, and first the head covering comes off, then they're now not in dresses, and now they're walking in pants, and now they're rebelling. And so they had to stop that uprising. Well, it's the same thing with Antifa in this country when they go and they have these agents that are paid, and they're going, and they'll be the ones throwing the rock, and then dumb niggers will come by and throw the rocks. Yeah. And then even if they all go to jail, they'll get bail. That won't go on their record. It's the same thing. They come in, they force multiply. They have an agenda. They set the agenda to create uprising and instability in the government. And Iran was saying that was one of the hardest things that they had to control. So it's already going on. They're trying to get in there and destabilize the Iranian government right now. So that's what they're dealing with internally. And he even said if Iran wanted to, they could destroy Israel. But as a result of that, they want to sit back and just see how things are going to go with Trump and try to create peace and all that. So now, I showed you that for this. It may look like Israel's in control and that things are going to be calm. Trump's going to get in there, stop the wars, and that may happen. But it's not going to stop this. Get 2 Ezra 15. It's not going to stop this. 2 Ezra 15, verse 20. Let me see.
You want 28? 28, 29?
No, I want to see. Let me see 23, and then we'll go to 28.
Yes, sir. The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15, verse 23. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and hath consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin, and keep not my commandments.
This is a warning to the Israelites, because when we sin and keep not the commandments, it's the same as breaking his law. Now go to, you're right, 28. Nope, 27.
Verse 27. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth.
So the plagues are going to come upon the whole earth. Read on.
And ye shall remain in them.
But Revelation 18:4 says, come out of her, my people, so that ye not be partaker of her sins. And then the result of that is the plagues. He's saying this very similar thing. Read on.
For God shall not deliver you.
Right. But how do we come out of her when we be like 2 Corinthians 6:17? we do not take part in her sin. We have to be separate from them. Be holy. Read on.
Because ye have sinned against him.
Right, now this is the part.
Behold, in horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east.
I.e., the Middle East. This is from the east. Read on.
Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia.
Who are the dragons of Arabia? That is the Yemenis Arabs. That is the Saudi Arabian Arabs. That is the Syrian Arabs, the Palestinian Arabs, the Egyptian Arabs. That whole land, those Arabs over there, that's talking about them. And they are in different, Qatar, the Qatarian Arabs, the United Arab Emirates Arabs, the Arabs from Kuwait, all of them. Read.
Shall come out with many chariots.
Read on.
And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth.
The multitude, why? Because that means if they're a multitude out of the nations, that means they're going to be united. If they're in different nations and the multitude come out, they're going to have to be united. That's just common sense. Read on.
That all they which hear them may fear and tremble.
Right. Watch this.
Also, the Carmanians.
Now, the Carmanians biblically are the modern day Iranians. Now, there are some Arabs in parts of Iran, but these are the Iranians. Read on.
Raging in wrath.
What's going to make them rage in wrath? Well, how about getting poked and prodded and set up and trying to topple your government from within? That will make a people mad. Read on.
Shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood.
Right. Wild boars of the woods. I like watching this. Watch any hunting video and you will see a wild boar will run over a man, tear through a pack of dogs, and gore and gouge you. And there's nothing you can say. There's nothing you could do to make a loud noise. It will not stop. That's the how do you say it? Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. That their nature is of a wild boar. Once they get started, nothing can stop them. They believe that they serve a higher purpose, and if they have to die and they're not worried about that. Read on.
And with great power shall they come and join the battle with them.
Join the battle with who? The Arabs. That's what's going to happen. We're seeing this, and right now you say, well, now Israel's got the upper hand. He beat the Hezbollah. He's destroying the Houthis. He's killing the crap out of the Hamas. He took Syria down. Is this going to happen? It's going to happen. Iran is going to join with all these Arabs one day. Read on, watch this.
And shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
Now, that Assyria is not talking about ancient Syria, the captivity before Babylon. That's talking about the Assyria. That's talking about the Israelis. That is a portion of the land. Read on.
And then shall the dragons have the upper hand.
Who are the dragons? We just read about it in 29. The nations of the dragons, those are the dragons. Those are the Arabs. Read.
Remembering their nature.
Now, I know, brother. I know I am a billionaire, trillionaire in Saudi Arabia, but they have taken it too far this time. They've killed tens of thousands of Palestinians. It is time that we forget about the oil, brother. I know, but if we come together, that's what that talk is, and it's happening behind the scenes. And you got Arabs in New York, you got Arabs in New Orleans. They're all over the country. They're sleeper cells. They're set and implanted, and they're talking. Read on.
And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them.
In order to conspire together, you have to come together. Look up the word conspire. Then we're going to go to back attack. What does it mean to conspire together? This is important. This is it's not happening now. It's going to happen soon. What is the definition of conspiring or to conspire? Oh, I like this.
Conspire. Make secret plans jointly to commit an unlawful or harmful act.
If they're going to decide to come together secretly, the unlawful act is anything that goes against Esau. That's the unlawful act. They're going to conspire together, but they're going to have to remember their nature. So you don't think that these Arabs behind the scene have communications and networks. They probably have created their own apps. You don't think that they're not talking all together and planning stuff? You really think they're not doing it? Esau is that stupid? God is putting in them to do all that. And when the time is right, he is going to rise up against this man. But all the things got to be aligned first. All right. So, look, with that, brothers, we didn't get to everything tonight. Thank you for sticking around. I have an important lower back attack tonight to drop some health information on you. So, with that, we say shalom. Stick around.
Yeah. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in. Going all in. Yeah. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And going to the end, going all in.
Hey, shalom. Welcome to Lower Back Attack. You brothers out there in IUIC, get to the green. Stop playing games. A lot of you have already gone from the yellow to the green. Many of you going from the red to the yellow, and some have gone from the red all the way to the green. You don't have an option. We are going to work. Now, I want to put that one last. That's going to be the funny one. That's the funny one. There is a video. There are two. I want to show you a video that's very much going to help you, brothers and sisters, who are having trouble with your health. All right? Play the next one, please. Yes, this is, I believe, from about 30 years ago or so. It's a study on psychology and brain activity when you eat the wrong foods. A lot of your children are hyperactive. A lot of you have reactions to the foods that you eat. And this is important that you understand that the single thing that you can control is the things that you put in your body. And this is why I'm been talking about it for years. We should all eat less frequently. And our body has more time to process the foods that we eat. And if we take it to the next level and we eat less frequently and we eat things that are from the ground, that is how we can heal our minds and our bodies. Play that.
You how some children change in behavior, in activity, and in appearance because of some environmental factors. The first youngster we want to show you is a little 3-year-old boy, and we're going to see what happens to him after he drinks orange juice. Isn't it surprising that he changes this much, this quickly, and in this way? Now let's look at this 5-year-old boy who is being tested for chlorine. Notice how nice he is before he's tested. He's adorable. And now look at him. He's trying to fight his father. He's actually frothing at the mouth. He's trying to hit his dad. He's hollering. He's uncontrollable. Would you believe that this could happen to a youngster from one drop of a chlorine allergy extract? Now let's look at this little 3-year-old boy. He's going to eat some sugar cubes. He eats about 6 or 8 of them. And within 20 minutes, look at what happens to him. He's obviously irritated. He's angry. He is not acting the way he should. And when we give him the correct dilution of sugar, look at him. He's adorable. Now let's look at this 8-year-old boy. He's being tested with an allergy extract for strawberry. Look at how he acts. He is so angry. He almost looks demonic.
So pause. And this is why when you read the ingredients on these processed foods, there are extracts and there are other ingredients that are affecting our children because they're created in a lab. Some of them are synthetic, and they're creating unnatural responses. This is why, get Sirach 38 verse 4. This is why it is good to keep hearing the same things. It is good to eat less frequently, and if you're going to eat, let it be things that are as natural as possible. And that can include grass-fed beef. It can include eggs. It can include grass-fed cheeses. It can include things with mostly single ingredient foods. It is very important that we turn back to the simple things. Okay, and this happens all the time with many black and Hispanic children, Israelite children. Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 4. The Lord had created medicines out of the earth.
So food can destroy you, but it also can heal you. That's what medicine is a healer. Read on.
And he that is wise
So we know that the sugars of cookies, candies, and cakes taste very good. But we have to be wise to say, not everything we eat should taste this damn sweet and good. Because if you go back 200 years ago, right, the only sources that we had sugar for in nature is when berries were ripe, if you went and sought out a honey hive, if you found that, or if you made, maybe the town village made or the area you was at made some molasses or some sort of sweet. And dessert was very, very infrequently eaten. Nowadays, you can get dessert every day. You can put sugar in your coffee. You can get a pie after lunch. You can get this. We're eating so much sugar. It is absolutely ridiculous. Sugar is the enemy. It is the damn enemy. Okay? And these extract and processed foods, we have to stop. Obesity rates are not from eating too much meat, even though we're not supposed to. Bishop brought that out on Sunday. But it's also from the sugars and the processed foods and chemicals. Read.
And he that is wise will not abhor them.
So if you're unwise, you're going to hate what comes out. Now, go to the next video. There's one old Edomite doctor. Let me see. Actually, the next one, we're going to go back to that one. This is it. Now, so this is important because the way he explains it, I'm going to play it twice because we're going to miss it at first. We're going to play it and play it again.
Obesity is a biochemical problem, not a behavioral one. People think if you eat it, you better burn it or you're going to store it. Wrong. It's more, if you're going to store it and you expect to burn it, then you're going to have to eat it. In which case, the two behaviors we associate with obesity, the gluttony and the sloth, are actually secondary to the biochemical process of the insulin going up. So it's the insulin that's driving the behaviors. And we've proven that. Things that make your insulin go up.
Pause. Rewind it again.
Obesity is a biochemical problem, not a behavioral
So when
one.
he says biochemical, this is what we have to understand. Every time that we eat, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over again, because every single one of you brothers and sisters who are obese can 100% unequivocally, totally reverse and completely come out of your condition. It is what you're eating, but you have to understand the process of insulin. If you eat 5 times a day and there's a bit of sugar in it, it's going to spike your insulin. Insulin, when there's sugar present, it wants to store it as fat. So if you start baseline, go down. If you're a fat, disgusting lard ass, you shouldn't eat more than 1 time a day. If you have 1 meal, you're going to have 1 insulin spike. That is very good. So now if you couple that 1 meal a day with foods that are from the ground, it's just that simple. You have things that, let's get an example. If I have a meal with low carbs, by natural, food that's good for you should be mostly low carbs. If I had scrambled eggs with some cheddar cheese, no carbs in that, proteins and fats, an avocado cut and sliced, a big giant salad filled with greens, onions, all the things that are good for you, full of vitamins and nutrients. And then for dessert, I had some berries. That's the sugar you should be eating. All of that right there is incredibly nutritious, low carbohydrate, high fat, moderate protein, and your insulin spike is going to be, and your glucose spike, which is the sugar, is going to be moderate at best. What that's going to do is fix your insulin. When you fix your insulin, you fix your biochemical friggin' failure in your body. But when you, and I used to do it, eat 3 to 5 times a day, that is the worst thing you could do for your body. Now, if you're a super giant athlete that you burn so much sugar, you burn 7,000 calories. I'm not talking about a triathlete, Michael Jordan, Usain Bolt. They have to eat so much food because they burn so much. I'm not talking about that. 95% of us are not that. So if you're a professional bodybuilder and you got muscles and you can handle all the glycogen, but most of us, we do not need that. And the problem is after athletes and like Usain Bolt, after they stop doing all that and they keep eating like that, that's when they get diabetes 2 within a year. We have to go back to controlling our insulin. What he's saying is correct. Play on.
People think if you eat it, you better burn it or you're going to store it. Wrong. It's more if you're going to store it and
Stop. Meaning if you're going to store it because you know later you're going to work it off, then that's fine. If you know you're not going to work it off, then you have to eat so that you can control, so you're not going to add it on. That's the point. If I know I don't work out a lot, if I know I'm not going to work out, then I know I'm going to keep my calories at my maintenance calories is 2,000 calories a day. Unless I plan to work out like crazy, then I might eat 500 calories above my. If not, I eat the required, and I will not store any fat. We got it twisted, and he's right. We have to think, okay, if I need to store calories extra because I'm going to have an hour and a half run, I'm going to weight train for a whole hour, I'm going to burn 700 calories. I better eat more to store it. This is the point, but we're not thinking like that. If you don't even have to work out, many brothers I know have lost 100 pounds and they didn't even work out because it's about controlling the amount of food you eat and the times you eat it. It's just that simple. It really is. The first 2 weeks is hard. You shut up and do it. Play on.
You're going to have to eat it, in which case the two behaviors we associate with obesity, the gluttony and the sloth, are actually secondary to the biochemical process of the insulin going up. So it's the insulin that's driving the behaviors. And we've proven that. Things that make your insulin go up generate those behaviors, irrespective. And unfortunately...
So pause. What is the solution to this doctor's problem? Every time you eat, in particularly carbs and sugars, stop eating so frequently. There's study after study after study that proves it. At the very, Deacon Asaph said it, at the very most, if you're a very fit person, I wouldn't do any more than 2 meals a day. And that means a snack. So you might eat at 12 noon and then eat again at 6. That's your window. Eat healthy foods, you'll be fine. You obese lard asses have to do 1 meal a day, and sometimes you got to skip a day. So let's say if I did a meal one day and then the next day I just did water and like salts. Then the next day I eat. That means I didn't have an insulin spike for damn near 2 days. That's how you fix your metabolic health. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. And everybody that actually applies it, all of them lose the weight. And because they got healthy, a secondary benefit is they lost weight. They got healthy, and a secondary benefit of it is lower blood pressure, fat loss. Those are all secondary things. We're almost done. Next one. I want the one with the sugar and with the black woman. Not the whales walking down this. Now, this is important. We eat way too much sugar in our society. Play that.
The amount of sugar that's in a healthy person's blood. If your body goes from this to this, you're diabetic. 1 bowl of rice has the same impact on your blood as 10 cubes of sugar. And 1 slice of white bread has the same impact on your blood as 4 cubes of sugar. Look at how we process the grain. We take a whole grain and we process it to pure white flour. Now you take that rice, you process out the plant nutrients and the fiber, and now you're left with that delicious processed rice, and we're left with pure starch. And starch are just chains of glucose put together. And your body's trying to do whatever it can to not increase this. So whenever you eat food, that food increases your blood sugar. It may increase it to that. It may increase it to that. It may even increase it to all that. So having cereal in the morning may do something like that. Compared to eggs and healthy fats like avocado may do something like that. Now, if you eat something like that, your body's insulin levels may go from this to this, and then it's pretty easy for it to come back down. But if you're having something like that, and your blood sugar goes from this to that, now your insulin goes up much higher, and it takes longer to come down because it's a hormone. Now you feel hungry.
Pause. This is the key. You got to control your hormone insulin. When you do that, you can fix everything. How do you do that? Stop eating so frequently. Cut out the stupid, dumb sugars. It's the last 100 years. None of this stuff was around when I fought. We didn't have sugars in abundance like this. It's everywhere. We've got to stop. All the bread, the nutrients is out. It's damn pure sugar. The white rice is damn near pure sugar. Eat lower carbohydrates. Eat less frequently. And all of us can fix our health. Every single one of us. It's just that simple. You've got no excuse now. 30, 40 years ago, the internet wasn't as prevalent. You have to really study medical journals and go to college for certain holistic. This is everywhere now. And that was a perfect explanation what he said. He showed you these sugars have, if the less sugar you have, the less of an insulin. Your body can quickly bring it back down, right? And if you have that less per day, it's just logic. Now, that was it on that? The last one is, we got to laugh. So now I'm going to show you these sisters are Israelites, and we love our sisters. These sisters are absolutely, positively disgusting. And what I mean by disgusting is some have nice looking faces, but their health is disgusting. They don't care about their loved ones. Their life expectancy is shorter. Look at the line of obese, fat, disgusting, out of shape, non-self-loving sisters. And I'm telling you, once we fix all the men, you fat, lard-ass sisters in IUIC, you have something coming for you. Play that.
Moment here, we're making sure that nothing is going to come down in the studio here.
And it is going for quite a bit, everybody.
We're experiencing very strong shaking. Wow. I think we need to get under the desk.
All right, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back after
this.
Wow.
So, hey, we laugh. It's not funny, but it is funny. We have to apply the scriptures. It is about your insulin, which is a hormone. It is probably the most important hormone, and you have to stop eating so much sugar, or you're going to end up having a lot of problems when you get older. Israel, we got to get our health together. It's a health revolution. Get with the program. Get in the green, you men. Most High in Christ bless them. Captain Shem. Shalom.
Yeah. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling.
Shalom. We are seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions.
All right, give alms. To give at your local school, drop an envelope in the alms box. To give alms online via PayPal at IUIC New Orleans at IsraelUnite.org. To give to the Booster Club via PayPal at IUIC.fundraising at IsraelUnite.org.
Hey, you on put look at that. That was perfect. Damn. Hey, y'all, listen. We got to donate to the Booster Club. You see the Mighty Works. We just had a Men's Islands Conference. We had the Solomon Islands, and we're going to many other places throughout the earth, Europe, Africa, all over, South America, Central America. We want to thank all of you at the Booster Club for really having the spirit to help us travel the earth as God commanded. In Matthew 20, it says, Go ye therefore and teach all nations. Why? Because we were scattered in all nations. So 12 tribes worldwide. So with that, we thank you all for tuning in. We running a little bit late because Captain Zakar and FCN a little bit late. We appreciate y'all. Any ideas for the show, leave in the comments. Leave in the comments. And I had one comment that it said I should let Officer Yasa talk more. I'm gonna take heed to that comment, and I agree with that. Sometimes I do. We got to get these guys more involved. I acknowledge that. We're going to get them more involved. So all praise to the Most High. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom. There's a special place that I like to go when nobody's home to increase my understanding. My daily bread, that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line. Precept on precept, line upon